In 2016, Cleveland sports was at its peak, unless you're talking about the Cleveland Browns, which I'll talk about later in the video. The Cavs, Indians, and the Cleveland Monsters were at the top in 2016. Let's take a look back, starting with the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron James coming back home for the 2014 and 15 season. Expectations were high for this Cavaliers team, and LeBron delivered, well, sorta. The Cavaliers lost Kevin Love to an injury in the first round versus the Boston Celtics. Love was ruled out for the rest of the year. And in Game 1 of the NBA Finals versus the Golden State Warriors, Kyrie Irving would suffer an injury too and also be ruled out for the rest of the year. LeBron still fought hard to bring Cleveland his first ever championship in franchise history, but however lost to the Golden State Warriors in 6 games. So, to start the 2016 season, the Cavs were healthy and hungry, and they started the season strong with the best record in the East. But, however, with the best record in the East, the Cavaliers would fire head coach David Blatt and hire assistant coach Tyronn Lue to coach the rest of the season. The Cavaliers would finish the season with a record of 57-25 with the number 1 seed. In the first round, the Cavaliers would play the 8th seed Detroit Pistons, and they would sweep the Pistons in 4 games. Then, in the second round, the Cleveland Cavaliers would play the Atlanta Hawks, and the Cavs also swept the Hawks in 4 games. And then, in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Cavs played the Toronto Raptors and beat them in 6 games to set a rematch in the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors. The Cavs would start the series slow and go down 3-1. No team has ever came back from a 3-1 deficit. The Cavs would go on to win the next 2 games and tie it up 3-3. To start Game 7, the game would be really close and going back and forth. If you guys haven't seen this game in a minute, please go look at this game. In my opinion, this might be one of the best basketball games in history. At halftime, the score would be Golden State 49 and the Cavaliers 42. The Cavs would come back and had a good third quarter. With the game being tied 89-89, Andre Iguodala had a wide open layup. Then LeBron James came out of nowhere and blocked it, saving the game for the Cavs. With 55 seconds left, Kyrie Irving would hit the shot, giving the Cavs a 3-point lead, 92-89. And then Kevin Love would play the best defense on Stephen Curry to force a miss. What do you guys know about the block, the shot, and then the stop? The Cavs would go on to win 93-89, giving Cleveland their first championship in franchise history and breaking the streak, winning a championship in 52 years. The Cavaliers were the first team in NBA history to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals. When Cleveland had the championship parade in downtown Cleveland, 1.3 million people attended. Now, let's talk about the Cleveland Indians. In 2015, the Indians would finish 3rd in the AL Central, at the record being 81-80. But, however, in 2016, the Indians would finish 1st in the division with a record of 94-67 under manager Terry Francona. The Indians would be the 2nd seed in the American League. The Cleveland Indians would play the Boston Red Sox in a best-of-5 series in the first round. The Indians would sweep the Red Sox 3-0 to advance to the American League Championship. The Indians would go play the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League Championship. The Indians would go on to beat Toronto in 5 games, 4-1, going to the World Series playing the Chicago Cubs. The Indians would start the series strong, going up 3-1 and only needing 1 win to win the World Series. But, however, the Chicago Cubs win the next 2, setting up a pivotal Game 7. In Game 7 in Cleveland, the Indians would start the game off slow. The Cubs would be up 6-3. But if you know anything about this young Cleveland Indians team, they could be down a lot, but they will always fight back, and that's exactly what they did to start the bottom of the 8th. The Cubs would bring in their closer pitcher, Aroldis Chapman. Brian Geyer would hit a double in right center, bringing Jose Ramirez home, bringing the score to 6-4. Hey, if you're an Indians or Guardians fan, this man needs a statue put outside the stadium. With 2 outs, being down 2-2 in the count, Rajai Davis would hit a clutch home run in left field to tie the game up 6-6. With all the momentum on Cleveland's side, unfortunately, here's where the story gets bad. There would be a rain delay, and they would have to pause the game. And unfortunately, the Cubs would go on to win the game in extra innings, 8-7, to a sad ending for all Indians fans out there, including myself. Next, let's talk about the Cleveland Monsters. To quickly summarize, the Monsters were 2nd in the Western Conference with 97 points. The Monsters would sweep the Ranford IceHawks 3-0 in the divisional round. Then, the Monsters would win 4-2 against the Grand Rapids Griffins. And in the conference finals, the Monsters beat the Ontario Ray 4-0 in a sweep. In the Calendar Cup, Cleveland would play the Hershey Bears, and the Monsters would go on to sweep the Bears to win the Calendar Cup in 2016. And finally, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. Now, in 2016, the Browns were technically perfect, but not in the way you would like. The Browns would go on to win 1 game over the next 2 years under Hugh Jackson. Yes, One game. The only game the Browns won in 2016 was on December 24th, Week 16 against the San Diego Chargers. After Josh Lambo missed a game-winning kick, the Browns won 20-17. Honestly, there isn't much to say about this team. They were terrible. The only good thing came from this was the Browns got the number 1 pick and selected Myles Garrett. And honestly, as a Steelers fan, that man doesn't really need an intro. That man's just a beast. But if you guys seen my videos before, I want to hear your guys' opinion. Do you think 2016 was the prime year for Cleveland sports? In my personal opinion, I think it was. The Cavs won the championship. The Indians were 1 game away from winning the World Series. Their hockey team won the championship. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think could have been better about this year? We're not going to talk about the Browns. They won 1 game in 2 years. We're not going to talk about that. But what do you guys honestly think? What could have been better? And all right, y'all. Remember, drop any videos you guys want to see. All right, y'all. See y'all in the next one. Peace out, y'all.